Number 22 here at Quarantine Cafe. Thank you for joining us. Happy Easter for those who celebrate. Happy Zombie Jesus Day for those who don't. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments, the suggestions, the praise, the constructive feedback, all that good stuff. For those of you who may have missed our announcement yesterday, we have just started a YouTube channel. For those of you who are finding me much later on YouTube, thank you for joining us and welcome. So just to kind of hold all of these, they still look really primitive right now. I'm going to kind of over the next day or two try and find a way to expand the resolution on these, to shoot them in horizontal. We may end up with a second phone. We may end up streaming this to Instagram.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Woo!
So in honor of Sunday, and because it's one of my favorite brunch foods ever, I'm about to make chilaquiles. Chilaquiles is, I think one of the unofficial nicknames is the Mexican hangover cure, although I really think that anything spicy with tortillas can be a hangover cure, at least in my world, especially when you add cheese and eggs to it. We are, neither of us are hungover. Today?
No. Actually, we didn't even barely drink yesterday. It's crazy.
For once this quarantine season, you got a coat. So I got onion going into a hot pan here. This is going to be one of the building blocks. If you're a fan of any Mexican sauce in general, as I am, this is just a basic roadmap for how to make just about anything. Any of these. When you see, not moles, but just kind of basic red sauce, green sauce, any type of chili sauce. This is a great way to kind of go through it. So not looking for color, but I'm looking to get a good sweat to translucence on the onion.
Very traditional Easter dish, chilaquiles.
I wish this would be a traditional Easter dish. I know everybody kind of has their place in their heart for things like ham or certainly leg of lamb would be wonderful. They're just harder to find around here.
Okay. Morgan says that Kari and I are casting you to our TV, so be extra awesome.
Oh, okay. To jump off the screen and be extra charismatic.
Yeah, and you're wearing your pastel shirt for Easter.
I know. I figured it was a wonderful gloomy day. and isn't that the thing you do? Is that you just all right? Easter comes. You can now be a douchebag and wear pastel colors.
That's right.
so far be it for me to not jump on the douche train.
All right, we got Krista Miller in the house.
Hey, Krista.
And Shannon McCallum. And McCaleb, sorry.
That's all right.
It's funny, I don't know how to pronounce a lot of people's last names.
And they all seem to come from Natchez that you can't pronounce.
Yeah, that's true. Natchez like matches.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the one thing I learned.
Took you long enough to at least get the syllables of, not pronouncing them with equal emphasis on the syllables.
That's right. Absolutely.
And the burner did not like that I just put onions in there. So
Uh-oh.
One of these days we're either going to upgrade equipment on this or we're just not, and it's going to become a running joke that I beg this thing with all my might to cook, you little bastard, cook. So you can make chilaquiles with a red or green sauce. If it's green, typically you're seeing some kind of roasted chilies in there. It could be jalapenos, could be poblanos, could be the canned roasted chilies that hopefully you all have in your pantry like I know we do. The one thing that you really would need if you're going to make a green sauce, which to be perfectly honest and forthright is my favorite for these, you would need tomatillos, and stores just ain't ordering those these days.
It's a little bit of a specialty item at this point.
And you're right, and I totally see the merit in, hey, let's stock up on things that people would be ordering more of if we need to, go with store shelf real estate versus what might be a nice to have. So we're going to do a red sauce for this one today because, as you can see in front of me, this is all just kind of stuff that we have in our pantry.
Krista says they're breakfast nachos.
They are breakfast nachos. I'm so glad you pointed that out because anytime I get tasked, I make this a lot for the Super Bowl. So if I'm tasked with bringing a dish to somebody's house, could be a potluck, could be, hey, we got a Super Bowl party going on, and nachos are kind of one of those things that everybody craves. But the thing about nachos is that they've got a shelf life on them. If you don't eat those pretty quickly, the chips are going to sog out on you, or you never. And we'll do sheet pan nachos at some point in the next.
We have cheese dip ready to go.
Week or two, but unless you kind of do the thin layer, nachos kind of suck after about the first half portion because you get the mound of chips and then not all the love to everything down below. So chilaquiles are the great way to circumvent that because it's tortilla chips cooked in sauce and then covered in cheese and baked, and so they're you can make these as crisp or as soft as you want. So they are a great alternative to nachos.
But you got to put egg on it.
You do, and we will. I got garlic going in. I just sliced it. You can mince it. You can, if you wanted to cook this for a long time, you could even leave it whole because we are going to blend this sauce.
Well, happy Easter to Jeffrey's Aunt Carla, who's in the house.
Happy Easter to Natchez.
And Kari said the gang from I've Got Your Dinner Right Here group are watching.
Oh, good. Hello to I've Got Your Dinner Right Here, which I still can't help but say with a little bit of that Staten. Hey, I got your dinner right here.
That's right. You gotta go all Jersey on it.
That's right, and point down at my nethers.
Krista says this is the only thing she usually order at brunch. She's so happy for this video.
Oh, this is if I see it on a menu, chances are I'm ordering it too.
That's true.
One of those,
I've never heard of it like before dating you. Like I never heard of chili. Well, at least I didn't know what they were.
It's one of those things where it didn't really cross over into the Tex-Mex side of things, which until let's say within the last 10 years, maybe even more recently than that, you kind of started to see a little bit of a departure nationwide from when we would say, yeah, we're going to go out for Mexican. What we really meant was we're going to go out for Tex-Mex.
Very cool. We got Tom Rinaldi's in the house.
Hey, Tom.
And Rebecca Wagner.
Hey, Becca. Oh. Nice to have you all with us. So, garlic is fragrant. Onions are soft. The two big building blocks for a lot of these Mexican-type sauces are cumin and dried oregano. If you didn't have dried oregano, you could add. You could probably add dried thyme to it. It would be okay. If you didn't, just leave it out. Cumin is really important. It's going to give a good smoky backbone to this.
Very cool.
As we stir, and this is gonna go pretty quickly because we're just looking to again toast the spices. This is a good technique if you're making chili as well. If you're not doing like an instant pot or something kind of variety of when you add your spices, you want to toast them until they're fragrant.
Hey, what does this look like? It looks good.
Yeah, I went for the stove with the black bottom, just 'cause it's a little smaller, and I know this is going to the oven. I know it didn't exactly photograph as well, but
no, I think it looks good.
Does it? Okay, good.
Yeah, you can kind of see it better sometimes.
Good.
And here's some of our ingredients.
Going in with our next one, since I don't want our spices to burn, I got a chipotle pepper and some of its adobo sauce. I'm just going to kind of mash it up with my spatula. Again, I'm going to blend this sauce, and I've just now realized I haven't pulled my immersion blender out. So
Oops.
I may do a 10-foot sprint to the pantry and grab ours.
Yeah, Melissa Peterson says keep these going. If you haven't already, download, upload to YouTube. And guess what? We have a YouTube. We just did it.
Very excited about that. So instead of having to scroll through my Facebook page or take on because I would like for a lot of people to see these. Take on new friends where I might have to question everybody who's on my list. I appreciate, but sometimes you take on new ones. Like, do I know you? So have to vet who you're friends with. But so this is a good way to get around that. So going in with some tomatoes. This is seriously what I just raided out of our fridge right now. I've got a mixture of diced and crushed. You could use one or the other. Not a big deal. I just didn't want to open another can and be wasteful, and anybody who works in the industry, it could be restaurant, or it could even be accounting. It's the same principle of first in, first out. So don't want to open things when we already have them working for us.
Use what you got.
Use what you got, yeah, because as much as we enjoy doing this and want to show off as many different things as we can, we really eat this stuff. And
we need fridge space.
We need fridge space, especially after we were just feeling Chinese takeout last night.
Yeah. So Megan Little is in the house.
Hey, Megan.
And Garrett, friend from yoga.
Thanks for joining us. So really for this one, I'm just looking to kind of get a little bit of a simmer on it. You can and from here on out, if you wanted to add a little bit of liquid to this, some water, some chicken stock, anything like this, you could let this simmer for quite a while and kind of give it that all-day cooked flavor. Wendy and I think are both hungry right now.
We're hungry.
we've not. This is our first meal of the day.
Brunch time.
I know I'm getting death stares from the people with kids who've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning or earlier.
And doing Easter egg hunts and having to, that's tough.
So we appreciate and think you guys are all awesome for doing that. We don't.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry. This is live.
That is the softest sneeze you've ever emitted.
Hey now. No secrets.
No secrets. Okay. Duly noted. That was the loudest sneeze you've ever given.
Oh, okay. I'm a delicate flower.
I thought you said that was me.
Well, you are too.
That's right. So this is totally optional. I know a lot of you guys aren't really cilantro fans out there. We are. I think this is going to give a good extra, just a little extra something to the sauce. Like I said, I just ripped this off and put it right in because we're going to puree the entire sauce. Not necessary at all, because it's one of those things where I don't want you to have to, if you do want to make this recipe and we're still, and you're not watching us on YouTube, or you are watching us on YouTube and we're still under quarantine, don't go buy an extra ingredient. If you don't have cilantro, don't worry about it.
Very cool. Yeah. So basically, if you don't like cilantro, you can just leave it out. Or would you put something else in there? Would you recommend anything else?
No, not really. That's one of those things. It's like it's its own distinct thing. Certainly, if you don't have cilantro, you wouldn't have epazote. I wouldn't think. Since we have to go to Nam de Moon to find ours. If you ever do get the chance and you walk by this thing, it's a really cool little sawtooth looking herb. It's called epazote. It has these petrol notes to it. It smells like gasoline.
Whoa.
You've smelled it.
Yeah, I know.
I brought it over here. Yeah, it has this kind of almost anisey flavor behind it. And you see it a lot in sauces in Mexico. But again, you're not going to find it at Publix or Kroger or Walmart or Natchez Market or anywhere like that.
Morgan is saying that in Atlanta, the DeKalb Farmers Market is open for your tomatillos, and he thinks that Beaufort Highway Farmers Market is also open, but just keep your distance.
That's right. Now, I'm trying to kind of keep it just to the Publix by us because it's fairly small, and small meaning it's not going to be very well attended.
Yeah.
So especially if going at, I think the one time when we went earlier was like 9 a.m.
On Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, because I needed paper towels.
Oh my God.
And
that was the one thing we've been running low on, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's not like the hoarding or anything. It's like, we'd gone nearly a month. We still had to buy toilet paper.
We haven't done that yet.
And just, the reasonable amount of living for paper towels. So, Wendy, do you want to entertain these people while I go get other things?
Sure, absolutely. What do we got going on here? So, obviously, we've got our chicken. This is pulled chicken, right?
That is a pulled roasted chicken. This is more accessible than I thought it was.
And what is this?
So that is cheese.
Oh, it's cheese. Okay, it's grated cheese. What kind of cheese?
So let me get back in the shot here.
Okay. Here's we got the equipment out. I bought this immersion blender a long time ago, and we use it all the time.
We do. So all of Wendy's stuff, nearly everything was nicer than mine. And so, she had a nice place to live with lots of nice things. And if anyone who has ever moved in with someone who has nicer things, fellas, they don't come with you. So I think I had an immersion blender, but it wasn't nearly as good. So we use this one.
I use that for soup all the time. It's really good.
So anyway, back to the cheese game. We're gonna
the cheese. What kind of cheese is this?
So this was bought very early on in the quarantine phase when all of the shredded cheeses were gone.
Right.
Everybody really made a run on cheese. I don't know if folks were just looking to make sandwiches or quesadillas or God knows what else. So one of the things they had was I think it was the Cacique brand or one of the Latin brands of, it just said quesadilla cheese. I'm pretty sure this is Chihuahua. Which, if you've never had it, it kind of melts like mozzarella a little bit. It's got a little bit more tang to it than that. So I think that's what it is. I don't think it was expensive enough to be asadero. But if you don't have that, really just any shredded cheese, Monterey Jack would be a good one to kind of have versatily. This is just what we buy because this is our favorite kind of, we make chili or
quesadillas.
Wendy makes quesadillas. That's a good kind of all-purpose, which has Monterey Jack, cheddar, asadero, and it says queso quesadilla. That's Chihuahua. So sauce has simmered for a little while. I'm going to puree it. You don't even have to puree it. If you want it a little bit chunkier, you could leave it like that. And so this is really dangerous to be doing wearing a shirt of this color.
I was going to say, you're about to get, like, pollocked.
Never liked that shirt anyway.
We're running low on spray for stains.
Yeah.
Jennifer Miller has joined us.
Hey, Jennifer.
And Alex Rethoff.
Nice to see Alex. Alex was has Gathering Industries out in East Cobb. He was a big supporter of ours at Common Quarters. So thanks for joining us on this, Alex. Appreciate it. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
So
making chilaquiles.
That's right. So I had a kit going for a while. Speaking of Common Quarter, there are a few folks on there who were kind enough to say that they remembered these. They had them in the green version. So for the last probably 2 years or something like that, we did a brunch buffet. Just because we had a small kitchen, it was easier to serve as many people as we could doing it that way. But when we were doing an a la carte menu, I had this idea. It's like, all right, I want as many kind of hangover-friendly foods as possible. So I think the chilaquiles were on there. What else did we do? We had, I remember this is terrible. Can't believe I did this. I did mac and cheese with caramelized hot dogs, bacon, peas, and sriracha.
That sounds ridiculously good.
It was ridiculously good.
That's totally hangover food.
No shame in that game. So we had just leftover roasted pulled chicken. This could be if you have leftover grilled chicken.
The rotisserie.
If you wanted to, if you were looking to make a run and didn't want to cook something separately, the rotisserie section out of the chickens out of the deli sections have been really good and bountiful. Up to you though.
The Rinaldis think your shirt looks good on you, so don't ruin it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So here's the easy part, and here's kind of wrapping it up before it hits the oven. Tortilla chips.
Another one-pot wonder.
One-pot wonder indeed. So I'm going to kind of stir and add. So this is the part where you can make this as customizable as you want to. You can break these down, which I'm going to do because this is kind of how I like them a little bit more. You could leave these whole and just gently toss them with the sauce. You could serve them as is. That way they'll still maintain a little bit of their crunch.
Mm-hmm. You fold them in. You can destroy them, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so the way that I was taught to make this, and I probably shouldn't be making this comparison because this is not anything similar to the good... See, I caught myself. I was watching one of these videos yesterday from another chef and his wife who do videos like this. His wife's a comedian named Eliza Schlesinger, who's very funny. But she was giving commentary that anytime that it's very hacky whenever anybody who's cooking food uses the term goodness. Like, yeah, I'm going to scrape up all that chicken goodness from the bottom. And like, oh, well, I gotta catch myself. I'm not going to say that. But if you can't be hacky and ridiculous in your own home, what are we doing?
That's right.
So I am going to, so going back to the original story, one of the amigos that I worked with for a long time, those of you who spent any time at South City Kitchen or Alma, he's still there, I believe, would know Fausto. Fausto was one of maybe the best cook of his native cuisine that I've ever been around. His food was awesome.
Still is
awesome. Yeah, he's still alive, so I don't know what I'm speaking. I'm speaking in past tense, and that it's past tense for me getting to eat his stuff. But chilaquiles were kind of his specialty that, if it was your birthday or something, you were nice enough and requested. He's a super nice guy, but he always kind of seemed a little grumpy on the surface. We called him El Gruñón or El Pingüino. So the Gruñón means the grump. Pingüino, obviously the penguin, because he kind of had that little grumble like Burgess Meredith or Danny DeVito as the penguin. Like, also, I'm going to give you $1 million. So when he would make these, he would mash these almost into a paste. Which I thought was interesting because I made them one time. I think anybody remember the awfulness that was flip-flops in Midtown? It was during the recession. We didn't do an employee holiday party at Fifth Group, and so the partners encouraged everyone to just kind of do their own thing at each restaurant. And so we held off. Instead of doing something for the holiday, we did something for the Super Bowl. We said, hey, if you guys give us drink specials at Flip-Flops, which was run by some guy, Ace, I think, from the Real World.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Clyde was his real name, which is very funny. You give us drinks, we'll bring food. So I kind of cooked everything, and it was also the year that the Saints were in the Super Bowl, and won the Super Bowl. Who dat? I made Debris Po' Boys, and they wanted something kind of nachos like, so I brought this over. and some of the guys were looking to taste it, and I was like, all right, what do you guys think? And you kind of get the, it's okay. And the unspoken part was, for a white guy. So I was like, all right, well, please teach me the way. And they showed me it was kind of the mashed up. They would even mash it further than this, but I think this is good just for a mix of textures. Like I said, it was almost a homogeneous paste kind of thing, which was great. And so, and then they would do it in a big pan, bake it in the oven, and you would see garnishes that we don't have.
So cheese goes last.
Cheese goes last. I know you're a cheese fan, and I wouldn't kick it out of bed either.
That's right. Sorry, Krista. I know Greg is not a cheese fan.
That's all right. So I mean, yeah, you could stop even before the cheese, or if you had something like queso fresco or cotija or something like that, and you want to put more of a crumbly cheese on top of it, that would be cool too. Totally optional. They would put crema or shredded lettuce or pico de gallo. Anyway, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this in the oven right now.
What is the oven set at?
The oven's set at 425. I'm looking to kind of almost dry it out a little bit, not too much. And in the meantime, I will, do we have any questions out there?
Any questions?
And we may not.
What are you eating for Easter brunch today? Yeah. What are you making?
Or where are you ordering? Either of those would be good.
Oh, that's right. There were lots of brunch kits that got sold out from our local restaurants. Very cool.
So this is the second part. I should have been heating this on our burner, but I'm not. So right in front, we're gonna add. What are we gonna do to this?
We're gonna just look at this. Woo! Look at that oil. It's massive.
Look at it go!
All right, yeah. The little burner that could.
That's right.
Too bad I'm not a comedian. That would be like a lot more entertaining.
You're my own comedian. You're the funniest. Seriously, Wendy is the funniest person I know and have ever met.
Oh, that's not even true.
It is. It is. Nobody makes me laugh more. So this is gonna wait for this pan to heat up and stare at you awkwardly into the abyss.
Okay, so Deborah Stacy says she's making rack of lamb. Any tips?
So let's see. So just what depends on how you want to prepare it. I like to make sure that the bones are Frenched, which means all of the little bits of meat and fat are trimmed from around the bones. I don't trim too much of the fat off of the rack itself. I think that kind of helps insulate it and keeps it from drying out. Personally, I am not a fan of lamb cooked, definitely not beyond medium, but medium rare is kind of the main one, the temperature I try and shoot for on that, just because otherwise it will get very grainy on that. If you want to do it on the grill and you're looking for presentation, you can even wrap the bones in aluminum foil, and that'll keep them from charring too much. And if you want to save one for the gram.
So Morgan says, I promise I'm not hitting my eggs with a hammer. Why do I always break the yolk when I'm super gentle at cracking them?
Could be. So I'll kind of give you my technique. I'm going to let this butter get
just happen to have an egg.
A little bit foamier, which will kind of hopefully work in conjunction with the chilaquiles being ready. I always, if I'm cooking with eggs, I first hit them on a flat surface versus on
like
a rim of a bowl or something, because otherwise that kind of forces some of the shell up into the egg. And I found that I've had a lot more breakage that way. So I will just be very gently, crack it once just to kind of see the break in the shell. And I use my thumb and just kind of open it, and in it goes.
Pro tip.
At least that works for me.
Yeah, I used to always crack them on the side of the bowl, and then I would sometimes get shells and stuff in there, and Jeffrey was like, nope, do it on a flat surface.
Yeah, Wendy.
Pro tip.
Yeah. Well, you got sick of me looking over your shoulder every time you try and cook.
Yeah, so I had to get over it. But also, I think that's also a relationship builder, is how do you like your eggs?
Yeah. And you learn to communicate with each other. And I know that Wendy likes her eggs cooked a little differently than mine.
Overcooked is what Jeffrey means. My family definitely overcooks scrambled eggs, and he likes them a little more soft, and and so he was very sweet. I made eggs for him several times for breakfast until he finally got comfortable enough to say, yeah, maybe not so overcooked.
Well, Because I'm like, you don't want to be a dick when somebody's being nice enough to cook for you. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna eat. I really like her. I'm gonna ask for seconds, whatever. Like you'd be nice, and then after a while, you kind of get comfortable enough to be like, okay, what could I do differently? And that became the window of like, woo, okay.
I do ask that after every dish. What could I do differently, or what would you have changed?
And you're like, yeah, that's definitely opening Pandora's box.
Yeah, look at that beautiful egg. So just salt and pepper on that,
Yeah,
and a little bit of
that's it.
a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter.
Yeah, I probably got
in
too
the
much
pan.
going on in here, but really it was just the knob of butter that was left out on the counter from softening from us getting prepped to bake. We're going to make brioche later today because we all have turned into bread bakers these days.
Apparently. I do want to do focaccia next week,
Yeah.
for sure.
So let's see how this works up with this burner. But
Got Peter Burns is in the house, and
Peter.
Jennifer Drew, and Tracy Aviles.
nice to see everybody. Thank you for joining with us on this
Happy Easter.
wonderful Sunday. Hope everybody's not getting rained on too much, or at least preparing. I think they even said we're going to have a tornado warning.
Something like that.
Or something like
Some
that.
crazy storm.
So when do you like your egg? What, over medium?
Yeah.
I think? Okay.
I like it to be a little runny.
A little runny.
Yeah, a little runny.
All right,
Because
so-
especially depending on if it needs to be runny over this dish, which it does,
It does.
I am all about that.
So, just for the sake of timing it with the egg.
How long would you normally leave it in there? Or is this just like, are you bringing it out early? Or
A little bit. I mean, the cheese is melted, so that's
Yeah.
good. I mean, if you wanted to, I'm going to turn this off the heat now. If you wanted to, you could also turn, probably the most criminally underused part of American kitchens is the broiler. So you could turn that up, and then you get a good browning on the cheese. But until then, we're gonna scoop down in here. This would pass for
Oh my
lasagna
goodness,
if
look
you
at
didn't
that.
know any better.
Holy moly.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Come on.
That's your scooping. I don't need that much.
It's a moderate amount.
It's a lot of food.
And then put an egg on it.
Put an egg on it.
Put an egg on it. So-
Because it's Easter.
Because it's Easter, and that's it.
Look at that awesomeness that
Nice,
we're about
should be a
to
nice
eat.
over medium. It's not going to have the good, that almost, hate to use the term, but almost pornographic quality of when you cut into an egg
Oh,
yolk
yolk
and it
porn?
just kind of blah, oozes everywhere, like viscerally in chef land. That's about the best thing ever. But that's it. I mean, hopefully you saw how easy that is. Hopefully you make this at home. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, the rest of your weekend. Please stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands. Love you guys. See ya.